We have some breaking news. The Cleveland Browns are signing wide receiver Kadarius Toney to their active roster. This comes to us via a report from Ian Rappaport sources. Former Chiefs wide receiver Kadarius Toney is signing with the Browns, giving Cleveland another playmaker. He also visited the Seattle Seahawks and had others lined up, but for long and short term, Kadarius Toney lands in Cleveland. Now, Kadarius Toney will start on the practice squad to work his way back and ease in with his salary guaranteed this year. Anyway, this wasn't a financial decision, right? He was with the Chiefs, ended up getting released. Kadarius Toney has had quite a rocky start to his NFL career. A lot of injuries. There was that whole, thing with the New York Giants. He ends up going over to the Kansas City Chiefs, winning a Super Bowl, had a couple miscues. The one play where Travis Kelsey basically pitched it to him. He ran it in for a touchdown. It was a game changer, I think, against the Bills or whatnot. Probably would have won him the game. He was lined up offside, so that ended up getting brought back. But Kadarius Toney has had quite the journey as of late in the NFL, and now he finds himself in the Cleveland Browns or with the Cleveland Browns organization. And I'm not really sure how this is going to go because if you watch the Cleveland Browns this past Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys, it doesn't seem as if Kadarius Toney is going to make a difference. They have a quarterback that can't throw the ball. If he does, he's going to overthrow you by 10 yards, or it's going to be short, or he might get lucky and put it right on the money. That's very, very it's just very unlikely that that's going to happen. Deshaun Watson is not looking good at the start of this season, and that's okay because it is early on. He still has time to improve, but at the same time, we'd like to see him a little bit better. He didn't play any of the preseason, but we have to find a way to move the ball downfield. Deshaun Watson only threw the ball, I think, on an average 3 yards down the field, or just over 3 yards down the field, which was which was the case for most starting quarterbacks in the National Football League this week. I think Jaden Daniels had like average 2 yards passing down the field on every attempt, or maybe it was even under that. Caleb Williams only averaged like 3 or something like that. Like, there was a lot of quarterbacks that had a lot of short throws or averaged a lot of short throws this week. But again, you look at these receivers that the Cleveland Browns have. I mean, they have some decent ones, but at the same time, I don't think Kadarius Toney is going to help this lineup. Look, David Njoku, 4 catches, 44 yards. Okay. He had one, he should be 5 for 5. He had 5 targets and he had a 1 drop. That 1 drop was right in his hands, in a bucket, and he dropped it. But he ends up leaving the game early, gets injured. Then Akins, or however you say his name, 3 catches. Jerry Jeudy, who's arguably number 2 on the team, you could say that, or maybe even possibly number 1, had 3 catches and he had a touchdown. And then you keep going down the line. Their number 1 receiver in terms of receptions was their running back Jerome Ford. He had 6 catches. He had 7 targets, and that's because Watson and the Browns like to use that check down. That's what their game plan was against the Dallas Cowboys and that Mike Zimmer defense. Their number 1 receiver had 9 targets, Amari Cooper, and only 2 catches. Now, I'm not saying all of those were on Amari Cooper because they definitely weren't, because Deshaun Watson cannot throw the ball like he used to be able to when he was with the Houston Texans. But when you look at this roster, or when you look at this team in general, can you tell me Kadarius Toney is going to make this a better team? The only way that that's possible, in my opinion, in my eyes, is if they continue to use these short throws, right? These little wide receiver screens, these little, jet sweeps, these little, stuff like that. Just quick little dink and dunks and just moving down the field and try to get Kadarius Toney in space to where he's able to accelerate and move down the field and just take the top off of defenses. I'm not really sure if this is going to make them a better ball team because they have Watson, and he has yet to prove himself, and he hasn't the last couple seasons. Ever since the whole situation went down, he's dealt with a couple injuries and yada, yada. He hasn't been himself. So we'll see what this signing does for the Cleveland Browns. It's a good signing, but at the same time, I just don't see how it makes the Cleveland Browns a better team. We'll see, though. Week 2, he's going to start the year on the practice squad. I'm sure they'll elevate him maybe even before this week 2 game, or for sure for week 3, to the active roster to give them more firepower. But Kadarius Toney is signing with the Cleveland Browns. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It'd be much, much appreciated. Have a great rest of your night, folks. And you just got your fix with the Wicks.